You're about to enter a very shocking place. Are you ready?
Brace yourself for the most outrageous moments in music history.
Die, 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 pig, die. The police.
Backstage depravity.
Oh.
Lawless rebellion.
He had urinated all in the backseat of the deputy's patrol car.
Now that's gangster.
And booze-filled insanity.
You are drunk. I am not.
Yes, you are.
No, sir.
Oh, yeah.
These are the music stories that shocked us.
I said I want to her.
Holy he's nuts.
You think? From the tragic.
The body of Nirvana leader Kurt Cobain was found in a house in Seattle on Friday morning.
To the violent.
Now we can start the show, y'all with me.
To the just plain ridiculous.
In short, my penis had virtually exploded.
Oh.
It's time for the craziest rock star tales ever.
His car was filled with guns and ammunition.
This is VH1's 100 Most Shocking Music Moments.
I'm going home.
Hosted by WWE superstar Chris Jericho.
Weird stuff, man.
Hey, I'm Chris Jericho, and this is VH1's 100 Most Shocking Music Moments. From the bizarre to the tragic, the obscure to the infamous. These are the most unbelievable stories in music history. Let's get started now with number 100.
I've fallen before the same way, but it was pre-YouTube. So, you know, it was really amazing that it was such big news. It was actually on CNN.
Stop. I ain't ready yet.
Normally smoother than a sack of silk, the ever-bootylicious Beyoncé treated fans to her most painful concert experience ever in July 2007.
She bust her ass falling down some stairs.
You know, Beyonce gets to woo! And so the weed was like, no, Beyonce!
But B didn't miss a beat.
Hold up. Bring the beat back.
She grabbed the mic and kept belting like nothing had happened.
Stand up! And Beyonce got right back with the dance. She's like, what? What? Yeah, I fell. I like that.
Still, she was a wee bit mortified and asked her fans a favor later in the show.
Please don't put it on YouTube.
I think the least effective way to prevent people posting something on YouTube is to say, don't post that on YouTube.
Before the concert was over, people had this on YouTube. And then it went everywhere.
Not long after her tumble, Beyoncé took the stage at TRL to do a little damage control. And you can bet she watched her step.
It hurt really bad.
It did?
And it was a little embarrassing, but I got right back up.
Never before has a fall on stage been so famous. It was like the most known fall of all time.
When party experts Poison arrived at the 1991 MTV VMAs, they could barely stand up, much less play. But they did anyway, and stepped right into a live TV disaster that almost blew up the band.
Don't need nothing but a good time. What's got you so jumping?
All we wanted to do was win and rock. I had an alcohol problem, and Cece had a substance abuse problem.
So, you know, the alcohol's flowing. So by the time it's showtime, I'm pretty lit.
The band was scheduled to perform Unskinny Bop and began on track. The problem was they started playing during the commercial break.
Everyone's screaming at us and the camera crew, and everyone's like, stop, we're in a commercial, you gotta cut back in.
Apparently, I missed the cue when we're coming back live.
And I don't know what happened after that. It just completely derailed.
Woo!
Poison put the brakes on the tune already in progress and started over. But guitarist CeCe DeVille forgot what he was supposed to play.
Well, Cece just cut in to talk dirty to me, and, you know, they're kind of on the side of the stage like, no, it's supposed to be on Skinny Bop.
Once we did get going, then Cece's chord came out.
So I go over to Cece, I go, Cece, your guitar thing's out, and he's like looking at me like, get the hell away from me.
Needless to say, the band was a little bit upset with me. So we had it out.
And then we walked off the stage, and fist fight ensued, and I broke his nose and lost a tooth. It was a pretty serious fight.
Pissed and humiliated, the guys canned CC soon after their disastrous performance, but they loved him too much to let him go permanently. CC rejoined the band a few years later, and they've been touring on and off ever since.
CC is one of my absolute best friends. And, you know, we were both just intoxicated and going through a tough time, and we let stupidity get in the way, and that's what happens, you know.
Every rose has its thorn.
Tiny but tough Foxy Brown has always stirred things up with her in-your-face rap, but it's her temper that's really landed her in trouble.
Nah, y'all can't touch her. My sex drive all night like a trucker.
In 2004, Foxy, real name Inga Marchand, went ballistic on 2 manicurists at a blooming nail salon in Manhattan.
Brown, a Brooklyn native, is accused of hitting a nail salon employee with her closed fist and a cell phone and repeatedly kicking her. The dispute was over a $20 bill.
Foxy Brown's got this thing that she likes to do. She likes to get her hair did and her nails done and then whoop ass on the manicurist.
I would hate to see what she does to her esthetician during a Brazilian wax.
Foxy was arrested for assault and sentenced to 3 years probation and anger management courses, which apparently didn't work because she was arrested again in 2007, this time for an altercation with the owner of a beauty supply store in Florida.
Allegedly, Foxy squirted hair glue at the guy because he was trying to close the store and she was locking herself in the bathroom.
What's this on the ground here?
That's hair glue.
Hair glue Foxy allegedly flung at the store owner in a rage right before spitting on him.
Foxy don't play when it comes to her.
Foxy accepted a plea deal to avoid jail time, but had to spend 8 months in the slammer anyway for violating her probation from the nail salon incident. She said the whole thing was a learning experience. The rap world and the entire beauty industry hope she's right.
I just want her to stay out here, man. You know what I mean? I love you, mama. Let's make records.
Throughout the 60s and 70s, Three Dog Night's Chuck Negron was living the dream. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, and more sex.
Well, you know, you'd arrive in New York playing Madison Square Garden. You walk in, it's just full of young women, everyone offering you drugs. And, you know, before you even get to the show, you're out of your mind.
But one night in the late 60s, that dream became a three-dog nightmare. In 1999, Negron released a tell-all biography. In it, he tells a story about his penis.
The first few years, I screwed like a rabbit. I was indulging in so much sex that my penis was swollen and getting bigger and bigger. I knew something must be wrong, so I went to see a doctor. He asked discreetly, "Are you washing a lot or masturbating a lot?"
Naturally, Chuck ignored doctor's orders to lay off the lovemaking. A week later, he was at it again with a backstage beauty queen.
We went back to the bedroom and talked, and the next thing I knew, we were making passionate love. The experience was a bit painful for me, but I gladly worked through the discomfort.
Then, suddenly I heard it. I could actually hear this tearing sound.
Goodness.
Ripping is never a good sound in the bedroom. It either means the sheets are tearing, or if you're Chuck Negron, your penis just split in two.
Ah! In short, my penis had virtually exploded.
What do you mean his penis exploded? Did it spontaneously combust? It split.
Horrified, Chuck wrapped what was left of little Chuck in a towel and headed to a doctor for repairs.
Once at the hospital, doctors stitched it back together.
You know, my mom was a nurse. I'm gonna call her and tell her this story. Let's see how true this is.
Nowadays, Negron's treating his body a little better. He's been sober for nearly 2 decades and claims his party days are all in the past.
Do I consider myself one of the bad boys of rock? Not anymore, but I was. I was a terror, but now I'm the good boy.
Next up at number 96, if you're gonna pose as a famous rock star, is it smart to pick one who usually covers his real face with cat makeup? Maybe, then again, maybe not.
I remember people calling me and saying, how can you let a former member of the band live under a pier? And I would tell everybody who would listen, that's not Peter.
You keep on dancing on the roof gets high.
As the original drummer for Kiss, Peter the Catman Chris was part of one of the most legendary and lucrative rock bands in history. But when he left the group in 1980, after nearly 10 years, Chris disappeared from the public eye. That is, until a 1991 Star magazine story claimed to have found him panhandling on an LA beach.
There was an article in one of the trash mags, and it talked about Peter Criss living homeless under Santa Monica Pier.
When this came out, and everybody was like, dude, look at this picture of Peter Criss. Peter Criss of Kiss is homeless. What happened to the Catman?
Kiss fans were stunned, including comedians Roseanne and Tom Arnold, who went down to the Santa Monica Pier to rescue their rock hero.
I saw a guy with about 10 other homeless guys around him. He's like an entourage, you know, like Elvis, you know, and I figured that's got to be him.
The only problem? It wasn't Peter Criss. It was Christopher Dickinson, a homeless imposter who sold his story to the Star for $500 and 2 nights in a motel.
As it turns out, Peter Criss was alive and doing fairly well.
The poor guy is like living at home in Redondo Beach with his wife and kids. And next thing he's got like people calling him up going, hey, dude, I just heard you were living under the Santa Monica Pier.
It escalated to the point that Peter Criss went on the Donahue show to confront the guy.
How you doing? Why couldn't you impersonate like the Lone Ranger or a Tano or something like that? You'd really give me a rocky time.
But Chris didn't stop there to clear his name. He sued Star magazine for libel and eventually settled out of court.
We couldn't come up with better stories than what people have come up with, so we just sort of sit back and go, that's showbiz.
The Rolling Stones have always had a way with women, but when bassist Bill Wyman started up with underage groupie Mandy Smith, even Mick and Keith were gobsmacked.
When they began dating, he was 47, she was 13. Even by Stones standards, this is pretty revolting.
They'll think of your dad and your Madonna.
Well, Picasso had an even larger age span, didn't he? He was 94 and his wife was 37, I think, when he died. So that worked.
What's crazy about this is that Mandy's parents approved of the relationship. Letting your daughter date a member of the Rolling Stones is just bad parenting.
The pair went out for 5 years, finally tying the knot on June 2nd, 1989, once she turned 18.
I'm glad he's finally taken the plunge.
You think he's settled down?
That's another story, I don't know.
We've made a vow and that's it. Tore out the address book. Everything's gone.
You thrown your phone book away?
Yeah.
The whole lot?
Everybody's been trying to buy it off me.
Alas, the marriage was short-lived, ending just 2 years later. Yet, in a truly twisted turn of events, Bill's son Stephen got engaged to Mandy's 46-year-old mother, Patsy.
That's his son, it's my mother. We're gonna mix, we're gonna go out to dinner. We're all gonna see each other.
Bill's son Stephen came about this close to marrying Mandy Smith's mother, so Stephen would have been married to his stepmother's mother, and his wife was his mother's mother. That would have made her his grandmother, which means that anybody married to his grandmother must be his grandfather. Therefore, Stephen would have been his own grandfather.
In the 70s, teen idol Leif Garrett's life was nonstop fun, until one wrong turn ruined the party. On November 3rd, 1979, just 5 days shy of his 18th birthday, no one would have traded places with Leif or his best friend, Roland Winkler.
We'd been partying, drinking beers, smoking joints.
Leif Garrett's driving down the Hollywood freeway, wasted drunk, Quaaludes, got his best friend in the passenger seat.
We clipped the rear end of another car, and it spun us around, and we hit the curb, and it rolled down an 80-foot embankment. Neither one of us wearing seatbelts.
Leif walked away from the accident unscathed, but Roland wasn't so lucky. He had been paralyzed from the waist down. The ensuing lawsuit, which found Leif negligent in the crash and awarded Roland $3.9 million, splintered their friendship. To add to the tragedy, Leif spiraled into a drug-induced depression. The two didn't speak until they reunited nearly 2 decades later on VH1's Behind the Music.
I mean, it's been almost 20 years. That's a long time.
You didn't really know what the reaction was going to be. You didn't know if his friend was going to hate him.
Hey, man. What's up? Hey, man. Freaking. You and me both.
It was actually a pretty emotional moment. And obviously, Leif Garrett had a ton of guilt.
I'm so sorry, man. It's all right. I'm just sorry we never had this. Really sorry. Having that meeting happen lifted so much weight off my shoulders and off my head and my soul and my heart and my life.
A rising star in the world of Tejano music, Selena Quintanilla Perez was adored by millions of fans. And it took just one to end everything.
Selena was an incredible singer, an incredible dancer, and her fans really felt like they knew her. And when she stepped on the stage, you knew it was going to be electric.
I never thought that it would come this far. I never never in my wildest dreams I thought it would come this far.
To manage her growing admirers, Selena hired Yolanda Saldivar to head up her fan club. It soon became clear she made the wrong choice.
I found some documents that proved that she was stealing money from the fan club. I told her, Yolanda, I'm going to go see the police about this.
Yolanda Saldivar had embezzled money. She got found out. She was about to be fired, and she was just idolized Selena so much that she couldn't bear the thought of being apart from her.
On March 31st, 1995, after an argument in a Corpus Christi motel room, Yolanda shot the 23-year-old singer in the back. Bleeding heavily, Selena ID'd her killer to a hotel worker before passing away at a local hospital.
She said that Selena was her friend. Why don't you come out here and shoot me? Why shoot her? It just doesn't make any sense.
Saddened and bewildered, family, friends, and fans searched for an explanation.
You understand the loss of her to her fans.
It's tremendous. And not only to them, but to me.
But they want to know why you killed her.
I won't discuss that.
Saldivar claimed the shooting was an accident, but was sentenced to life in prison after being convicted of Selena's murder.
Selena was such a young person, just full of life, and her life was cut short over a senseless, stupid thing.
Next up, if you've ever wanted to see a heavy metal frontman have his face skin peeled off, well, you're in luck. But why would you ever want to see that?
The different things that he's doing to me, eyes, cheek stuff, jawline, nose job, chemical peel. They just kind of threw that one in. I don't even know what that is. I guess they sand your face off.
2 decades of partying like a rock star did a number on Vince Neil. So in 2005, the aging Motley Crue frontman went under the knife, and the VH1 series remaking documented the whole thing in gory detail.
Bye, baby.
Okay, bye. I watched the surgery footage. It
Me
was
too.
really disgusting.
Yeah, they showed a lot.
Yeah.
It's a disgusting process, a facelift. They yank skin off and they tuck it behind an ear and staple it. It's pretty gruesome.
You don't know what's coming out of his pores, and the fact that they're kind of slicing, dicing him open. I mean, the candidness of it was awesome, but you don't really want to see that much of it.
You gotta be pretty bummed out about your physical appearance to have hot knives jabbed into your skull.
I can barely see. I mean, you have morphine and Valium. It's gonna knock anybody out.
Dude, what are you thinking? You were in the crew. You can get ass till you die. Who cares if you're a little chubby?
After a few weeks of recovery and exercise, plus an interesting new haircut, Vince 2.0 was good to go.
He went from rock and roll badass to like West Village lesbian.
What a gigantic improvement. If he was going for the old metal god that looked like he had a facelift look, He nailed it.
Bobby Brown is no stranger to the slammer, but an especially shocking bust went down in 1995 during an unhappy visit to the happiest place on earth.
I'm a homebody for the most part, and when I do go out, that's when I get in all the trouble.
While vacationing at Disney World without then-wife Whitney Houston, Bobby hit on a pretty young tourist. It was only the first of his many wrong moves.
He meets a lady, starts hitting on her, and then some random dude just steps in.
Somebody else steps up to the girl, maybe blocking Bobby Brown. You don't block Bobby Brown. Bobby Brown loses his mind, starts hitting and biting this guy, rips his ear off.
Brown and his friends were immediately arrested and charged with aggravated battery and disorderly conduct.
It's just a night out that ends with a guy having to get his ear surgically reattached with staples. That's wrong. That's not the Disney way.
After the singer was arrested at the scene and thrown in a cop car, he stuck it to them by scrawling the F word on the interior and peeing all over the back seat.
He had urinated on the back seat of the deputy's patrol car, urinated all over the cage, urinated on the seat itself, urinated underneath the passenger floorboard.
Now that's gangster.
He just right in the squad car. That was the perfect cherry on that up pie.
Fortunately, the charges were dropped, leaving Bobby to continue his lifelong love affair with breaking the law.
Terrible, terrible.
Live is beautiful. Most dads live in mortal fear of the moment when the entire world finds out how unbelievably freaking hot his daughter is.
First of all, he got his daughter working, he put her out there, and now she's got a career. That was a good father, man.
Billy Bob Thornton is an Academy Award-winning actor, but Billy Bob Thornton wants to be a rock star. In April 2009, that led to one of the most bizarre and awkward interviews you're ever going to hear. Billy Bob was on tour with his band, the Boxmasters, opening for Willie Nelson when they stopped off for some much-needed press on Canadian public radio.
Billy Bob went on a radio show up in Canada, and I guess he told them, look, I don't want to talk about my acting or directing career, and right off the bat, the DJ said,
the Boxmasters' principal songwriter, singer, and drummer is a guy named Billy Bob Thornton, whose other job, some of the time, is Oscar-winning screenwriter, actor, and director.
That set him off, and he just didn't want to answer any questions.
Billy Bob, you guys formed only in the last couple of years, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The tension in a room was palpable.
It became a total, third grade nightmare at that point.
What do you learn from Willie Nelson, Billy Bob?
I've never met him.
You don't know what I mean?
No.
Billy was on guard for any question that hinted he wasn't a long-time, serious musician.
Given that you seem to be quite passionate about music, I was wondering about your...
Would you say that to Tom Petty?
Would I say that he's passionate about music?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Would you explain why it's not a hobby?
Are you reacting to the fact that I said...
Yeah, I am. Since you're instructed not to talk about like that, yeah, I am reacting to that, yeah.
To compare himself to Tom Petty is just making a complete ass of himself. The rest of his band, the Boxmasters, they were all highly embarrassed. Everyone just wanted it to end.
Soon thereafter, the band canceled the rest of their Canadian tour. Meanwhile, Billy continues his acting career, the thing he's actually known for.
I don't know. Maybe.
In 1970, President Richard Nixon declared a national war on drugs. Elvis Presley wanted to help. On December 21st, they met in one of the most outrageous moments in pop culture history. When Elvis first heard about the drug war, he hatched the idea of becoming an honorary deputy of the DEA and wrote Nixon a letter asking for a federal badge.
Dear Mr. President, first, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Elvis Presley, and I admire you and have great respect for your office.
First and foremost, I am an entertainer, but all I need is the federal credentials.
I can and will do more if I were made a federal agent at large.
Elvis Presley.
Nixon's aides were confused, but thought Elvis could help the president connect with young people, so they set up a meeting.
One guy said, this is crazy. One guy said, no, this is perfect to change Nixon's image. We'll get a photo op with Elvis and everyone will like Nixon again.
It was one of the most surrealistic moments, I think, in American history.
The always charming Elvis schmoozed Tricky Dick by giving him a Colt 45 pistol as a gift after sneaking it into the White House.
That's exactly how drug addicts think. He decided that he was invincible, walking into the White House with a loaded 45.
And everyone in the White House was completely shocked, you know, because you don't get that close to the president with 3 or 4 handguns on you, you know, stoned out of your mind.
Impressed with the king's patriotism, Nixon declared Elvis an honorary DEA agent and gave him a fancy badge to boot.
You couldn't get 2 more iconic characters representing 2 more opposite things. It was one of the more bizarre photographs of all time.
We continue our look at music's most shocking moments. And this next one was a great loss for hard rock fans everywhere. And it happened all because of a totally pointless stunt.
In the early 80s, 25-year-old Randy Rhoads was a rising guitar god ready to take over the rock world. Sadly, he never got the chance. In 1981, Rhoads collaborated on Ozzy Osbourne's first solo album, Blizzard of Oz.
At that point in my life, I'm sure he was sent from somewhere else, because if it wasn't for Randy Rhoads, I know I wouldn't be here.
On March 19, 1982, while on tour in Florida, Ozzy's band made a pit stop at the home of millionaire Jerry Calhoun, decked out with an airstrip and airplanes. The tour bus driver, Andrew Aycock, was also a pilot who convinced Randy and the group's makeup artist, Rachel Youngblood, to take a quick flight on a small Beechcraft.
He thought it would be funny to repeatedly buzz Ozzy's tour bus, you know, freak everybody out.
While some members of the Ozzy Osbourne band slept in their tour bus parked next to the house, the other 3 buzzed overhead, circling the bus 3 times. On the 4th time, they didn't make it.
After the 4th pass, he tipped the bus on the opposite side and it nosedived into the home.
The home then burst into flames, and killed were the band's lead guitarist, hairdresser, and bus driver.
It was mind-blowing. Like, how does that happen? Why are you in a plane doing this?
I think Randy Rhoads' legacy, sure, it will be for playing with Ozzy, but really his legacy is his playing, the way it sounds when he plays guitar. That's his legacy.
No one incorporates livestock in their live act quite like Norwegian death metal band Mayhem. But in March 2003, one concert goer almost bought the farm.
When you think of Mayhem, you think of animals being slaughtered, and you think Norwegian metal rock band. Their disclaimer for every concert is, we usually like to gut pigs and throw the entrails out into the crowd.
At one particular concert, Mayhem singer Maniac had just finished carving up a sheep on stage when he let its head fly into the audience. Unfortunately, the noggin struck a crowd member, fracturing his skull.
That's disgusting. Come on. You're like this, all of a sudden, bam! Oh.
You're gonna throw a sheep's head in the air, hit somebody in the head? Wow. What happened to just going to a concert and throwing your hands in the air and then waving them like you just don't care?
The unlucky fan, Per Christian Hagen, was rushed to the hospital where doctors tried to fix the damage.
How do you describe your injuries to the nurses or the doctor or anyone for that matter?
Per Christian Hagen lying there, covered in wool and blood. And the doctor goes, were you at some Mayhem concerts? This happens all the time.
Yeah, put him in the room with the guy who choked on the pig entrails.
Once Per recovered, Mayhem offered him a free ticket to a future concert, and everyone lived happily ever after. Well, except the sheep. They sold millions of albums, won a slew of industry awards, and are generally considered one of the best bands of their generation. But who knew Green Day could save lives? UK kid Corey George had been comatose for 2 weeks after being hit by a car in March 2005, when on a whim, his mom Tina queued up his favorite album, American Idiot.
Don't wanna be an American idiot.
Incredibly, the 9-year-old started moving to the music, and 4 days later was healthy enough to leave intensive care.
Amazing stories. His parents played him the American Idiot album. All of a sudden, his fingers started moving, his toes started moving, he opened his eyes.
Green Day helped me because when the music played, it woke me up.
Pretty intense. Yeah.
Power of music.
That is.
Even better, after his miraculous recovery, Corey nailed a phone call and some gifts from his saviors.
We sent him some stuff and sent him best wishes.
And he said, give Corey all our best, and there'll be gifts on the way. And they were really kind when they phoned. Yeah, they're fantastic.
Green Day spoke to this kid when nothing else could. So I think that's a great thing.
And now will you join me in welcoming the master of concealed weaponry, Blues Traveler.
Hi, I'm John Popper.
John Popper is, a jolly giant guy. And to hear he had an arsenal like style in the back of his trunk, I was blown away by that.
Goofy and charming, Blues Traveler frontman John Popper is the kind of dude you'd want to hang out and party with.
John Popper was one of these unlikely, sort of big, round, affable rock stars. He didn't look like a rock star and seemed sort of mild-mannered jam band dude.
So when Washington cops busted him in March 2007 for doing 111 on a state highway, the weed they found in the car wasn't too shocking. But the other stuff? Whoa.
His car was filled with guns and ammunition, just packed with artillery.
4 rifles, 7 pistols, a taser gun, night vision goggles.
It's quite harmless, I assure you.
His SUV had been totally tricked out into this crazy survivalist weapons storage facility.
John Popper was basically prepared for the apocalypse.
Though Popper was arrested for drug possession, no charges were filed for the weapons, and the explanation he gave to officers for packing so much heat?
He apparently told the cops that he wanted to be prepared in case there was a natural disaster.
I guess he said, I want to be ready when it really comes down. I don't want to be left behind.
Let's just say if the apocalypse comes and John Popper has an extra cot in whatever bunker he's going to be in, I would like it, right? That guy is prepared.
Usually John's packing, so I'll have some backup.
Great. That's not true, America.
This next one was a real tragedy. All of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, a beloved music and TV figure was gone just like that.
On January 5th, 1998, Sonny Bono, California congressman and former half of Sonny and Cher, died in a ski accident in Lake Tahoe.
Mr. Excitement is here.
It's kind of hard to describe, but if you were growing up in the 70s, Sonny and Cher was kind of omnipresent.
Babe. I got you, babe.
They were fantastic. He was kind of geeky. She was gorgeous.
I can't believe I married the whole thing.
I quite enjoyed Sonny and Cher. And long after he and Cher split up, he had left the music business and got into politics.
The Right Honorable Sonny Bono.
Bono was skiing with his 2 kids and wife Mary when he split off to hit the slopes on his own. 2 hours later, police found him dead of a massive head injury incurred by slamming into a tree.
Between the hours of 6:30 and 7 o'clock, the body of a male skier was found. It was later identified as that of Congressman Bono.
Sonny had the best sense of humor of anyone I've ever known. I was his biggest fan.
Though she and Sonny had been estranged for several years, Cher was the one who delivered the eulogy at the request of Sonny's wife, Mary Bono.
When I was young, there was this section in the Reader's Digest, and it was called The Most Unforgettable Character I've Ever Met. And for me, that person is Sonny Bono.
There was obviously still a lot of love between them. I mean, she really genuinely cared, and when you saw her out there, she was suffering when he died.
And no matter how long I live or who I meet in my life, that person will always be son for me.
After Sonny's passing, wife Mary took over his seat in Congress, which she still holds to this day. With notable exceptions, Academy Award-nominated songs are usually schmaltzy love ballads, not crunk anthems about pimp life. Then came 3-6 Mafia. Memphis rap group 3-6 Mafia was well-respected but little known when its Hard Out Here for a Pimp appeared on 2005's Hustle and Flow soundtrack. Shockingly, the song scored a Best Song nomination for the 2006 Oscars.
For real?
Yeah.
The thought was nice, but no one expected them to win.
3-6 Mafia was such outsiders in the race for that Oscar. It was so bizarre.
This is the Oscars, and Martin Scorsese in the crowd like, damn, you know, what the hell did the Oscars come to?
When Oscar night finally rolled around, the guys hit the red carpet the only way they knew how.
I was actually working extra at the time, and I saw them coming down the red carpet, and they're just like partying, having fun. Juicy J's drinking, man. I'm like, yes. They were really just so happy to be there. They're like, you know, kids in a candy store.
Later that night, 3-6 Mafia again defied all expectations. In other words, they won.
Everybody was like, that was crazy. It was super shocked.
Then Jon Stewart said, 3-6 Mafia, 1 Oscar, Martin Scorsese, 0.
I like it when something that nobody expects to happen happens. And that was something that nobody expected to happen. And they were so joyous getting it.
It's beautiful. Smells good, too.
Today, the group isn't resting on its laurels, but you'll forgive the guys if they celebrate their win just a little longer.
We got the world's longest Oscar party still going on right as we speak right now.
Thank you. God bless everybody. We turn to that strange alien world known as France. And a very creepy experience for a very young Whitney Houston.
It was April of 1986, and 22-year-old Whitney Houston was riding the buzz of her blockbuster debut album. Then, she appeared on a French talk show with Parisian pop star Serge Gainsbourg, and her first truly shocking moment was born.
Whitney was on French TV with one of Europe's biggest pop stars, Serge Gainsbourg.
A friend of mine. He's French, he's gross, he's full of himself, and he's wasted.
T'auras pas de cigarette. Sometimes he's a little bit drunk, you know.
Yeah,
I'm
not drunk. He must be.
No.
I'm not drunk today.
Are
you sure you're not drunk?
No,
you got to be.
Serge was clearly smitten with his fellow guest and had no time for the host's diplomatic translation.
Nah, you are not Reagan, I'm not Gorbachev, so don't try, eh? I said I want to her.
Whoa, wait a minute. Go back.
I said I want to her.
He actually said that?
Oui, alors, je vais vous traduire. Non.
Serge said he wanted to who?
No. No.
Whitney hears it, and her lips disappear immediately. She does the weirdest face I've ever seen.
And the funny part is when the host is trying to fix it, like, wait, hold up. He didn't mean that.
Non. Non, il a dit ça, mais ça lui arrive de temps en temps. Il sait you are great. Il dit que vous êtes très jolie.
Undeterred, Serge sought to smooth things over with a kiss before the interview came to its inevitable, awkward end.
Apologize.
Voilà, il apologize, il s'excuse.
Those French, they are the masters of love. They get it on a level that Americans don't understand.
And that's it for this hour, but there are 80 shocking music moments left. So you're gonna want to stick around. Trust me.